stories as told from the parking lot of the Lycée Français, where people keep their cars running to have air conditioning, which is a bit weird given that France just organized in Paris the conference for the environment and protection. Here we have people who don't want to uh, spend time in 23 degrees centigrade. They want 22 or 21, so they just pollute the air with the engine exhaust fumes. C'est la vie, as they say. So the stories were concentrated on what happened in the travel business, hospitality industry as they call it today. That's because this is where the excitement was, and this is my interest was there. The money coming from tours, and it offered a much better perspective. You never know in a communist regime what happens, but that was better looking than geophysics, definitely. I have decided to, as aforementioned in another chapter, to interrupt my studies but definitely get a degree. In the meantime, first year was marvelous, excellent notes and concentration, interest. After that, when I decided it's not for me, I just said, okay, I'll just pass the exams no matter how, and goodbye geophysics. With hindsight, now I can say that indeed I never worked a day in my life as a geologist or geophysician. So I received at the end of the university repartiție, an address with a job on the Danube, somewhere near the in Drobeta Severin, near the border with what was then Yugoslavia, and today is Serbia. But never went there, as I said. I was in the tours business, and that's what brought me the money to invest into Algernon, which is for later. Now, in school, there were some special moments. I didn't prepare, having decided it's not for me. I concentrate my efforts to know the tours, to be good on an itinerary. By the way, I was very thorough and very willing to help the clients to know what they do, and at the tables in the restaurant I was always going, is it okay, how are you? I had all sorts of plans to, in terms of the preparation. I wanted to know as much as possible, if not everything that was on the way. Jokes, prepared with jokes. From the start I had the one with the, I mentioned, with the end of the world. Here it will come 100 years later because we're 100 years behind. And then strategies to socialize, to interact with them, to make them feel wonderful. Sometimes even get to bed with them in a few cases. Not many though, because as I said, I had most of my clients were 70 and sick. But two British girls, three. Once it happened in Panamrash. And an American, we didn't have intimate relations, but I was supposed to marry her at one point. I'm not there yet, so let me get back to what I was saying. If I'm allowed, if I don't die from the exhaust fumes, because there's someone else who came with a car running, but unfortunately stopped the engine. One time at the exam for mineralogy, I was good friends with the son, but Father was the teacher and one who had to test me for um, minerals exam, mineralogy. Unfortunately, I didn't prepare for that exam or any of the others. I went to a football match, and I was a supporter of this team, Dinamo, but somehow managed to find on the way out of the stadium at the end of the game to find myself and my few Dinamo's friends and supporters, 6 of us or so, in the middle of the other supporters who were hundreds, thousands. Luckily, we only got a little bitten. It could have been worse. I was struck with a club or something. I managed to avoid getting the head kicked, but my hand had to be placed in plaster. I told Norochev, my friend, look what happened. Don't tell your father. He told his mother, but don't tell Papa. The mother told Papa and said, but don't mention it to Realini that you know, because Norochev. But then the teacher started making hints when he called me out of the blackboard. He started making hints, hinting that from the weather, warm weather, good time. It's a good time to play games and then even football. Yeah, they had some. The season was and coming in round large circles. He was approaching the stadium on my. As he was already at the stadium, but what happened to your arm? And I knew he knows that instead of preparing for his exam, I was out doing naughty things like going to stupid games and getting kicked, getting in fights. It wasn't much of a fight, we just tried to take cover, but still, I mean, that's the way it looked. Bad. Okay, the end of this one.